Yay Networks.
Welcome to a brand new episode of the Fitish podcast. I tried sock curls last night.
I saw.
I wanted to film a video like, are we doing this? I mean, how do we do this at night? It's so unsexy, some of the grooming things.
Yeah, there's no other baby happening.
Yeah. Someone just asked me that, by the way, DM'd me, like, are you having another baby? And I just sent a question mark back because, like, kind of like, I don't know.
Like, are you selling
also,
them
like,
or what?
that's a weird question, you know? And she wrote back.
Do you have some spare?
I sent a question mark and she goes, are you going to have a sibling for Remy? Like, again, like asking. I know people don't mean anything by it, but it's kind of one of those things that it just seems like a little inappropriate.
You know,
Fran, here we go. Fran's going to defend the strangers.
you're absolutely right. It's so inappropriate. Yeah, like it's so inappropriate to get into people's lives, such something so intimate.
I get it. I mean, I do get it because that's just something
You've done
you
it.
ask, like,
We've done it.
to girlfriends,
Yes.
to people I know that I speak to every day. You know, like, how many kids do you want? Are you going to have more kids? I say that to like my closest friends, but not to strangers on the internet.
No, you go see someone walking with good jeans and with one kid. It's like, is that it?
Yeah. Are you having more?
Like you have to.
You know what, though? I feel both ways about it. I shouldn't even,
So many ugly people walking around. You need more pretty people.
No, I shouldn't. I know that it comes from a good place. It just feels so abrupt and weird sometimes on social media, to have a question that's so personal. But I do recognize that a lot of people feel like they know me very well, which is pretty true. I mean, I put myself out there, so people do know me. But let's do our week in review. I hope everyone's doing well. We got a lot of feedback from those few loyal listeners about doing one every week. So yeah, the gist of it was consultants and for, ad purposes and all of these business related things and content. I mean, we want to give y'all interesting content every week. And we were kind of all over the place for a while and Todos and traveling. And it was just like a little difficult to navigate. I think when we moved that we wanted to make sure we were offering up interesting content. Now that we're in Mexico City, I do feel that we have much more normal, relatable, interesting content about, having moved here. We're living more life on a day-to-day. So I think Francisco and I, our intention is to, for the most part, go back to weekly, even if some of the episodes are short, and just expressing our parenting struggles with you. But in general, yeah, we're going to try and do once a week. I think we're going to take, some normal holiday breaks as you would expect. But aside from that, don't hold me to it. Don't hold us to it. I think we're going to try and stick with that a bit.
Yeah, we want to make sure that we are like we communicate and we share our day-to-day for you guys that want to hear it.
Yeah, I
every
know.
week.
I do. I think that's the thing, right? Is that a lot of you listen because you want to hear our relatable parenting struggles as you drive to work and think about your parenting struggles. That's what I've found. I think I used to think when I would speak about parenting stuff, and I think that's why I don't share so much on social media all the time because I find our life
Wow. Is there more?
but I find our life very normal, right? And so sometimes I don't think normal is always so interesting, right? Like I don't feel that my day-to-day life is very interesting, but then I realize other people I follow on social media, I usually, sure, you follow the aspirational whatever, but at this period of time, I kind of stopped doing that. And I like to follow other women that are just kind of going through it with kids, right? Like that's the kind of content we find most entertaining is like the relatable parenting content. So anyway, hopefully we can offer more of that to you along with kind of how our move has been. Speaking of which, let's do kind of our week recap because you allowed me a good 4 days as a single mom. And I'm going to say this. There are moments that I'm jealous of the single parent because you're the default parent. Your kid can never say to you, I don't like you. I like that absent parent that's not here and doesn't exist, Like when you're gone, it's like, I miss Papa, Papa. And as you've done everything for them all day and you're just like, yeah, I know. I'm like so second fiddle to Papa, which is normal, by the way. I mean, it's very much, it's a Remy and Francisco world and I'm just third wheeling in it. Unless Papa's not giving him his way and he wants to come to me and I have your back too. You do that, but you would feel very upset if the roles were reversed. And I'm sure they will be at some point.
Of course, but just so, and they have been. There's days that he only wants mama.
Days. But in general, when it's bedtime, for instance, because you started that routine with him and now it's so sweet, like he wants you 99%
Well, we
of the
started
time.
like week number 2 of his life.
Okay.
Like,
First of
like,
all, I was breastfeeding. This is what's so hard as a mom is Francisco and I kind of got into an argument the other day, as people do. And it's frustrating to express when you don't see eye to eye. I mean, as with any argument, right, or any disagreement, like he doesn't see where I come from. I have a hard time seeing where he comes from. I think that's what's hard, right? A therapist once told us, like, you don't have to see the other person's side to just be open and like acknowledging it. You don't have to agree, and I think that's really, you have to tell yourself that every time you fight with someone.
It doesn't have to make sense.
It doesn't, you don't have to see it, because that's usually how fights start, is you're not doing things to be malicious. But anyway, it's like little small things, right? As it always is. It's small things, you get annoyed with each other, the tone turns and on and on. But, I said to him, I'm such a third wheel. And he was like, you like it that way. I'm like, no, I don't. Like, trust me. And I think a lot of women can speak to this. Maybe if we do it again, but in general, I think there's so many things that as a mom, you do. Like, I get up earlier than them. I make lunch, I make breakfast, I pack his lunchbox, I clean out his water bottle. I make sure like everything's ready to go for school. I get him dressed for school, where, he's usually often, same thing with like the nighttime routine, right? Like, I mean, we alternate showering, but often, Fran's usually always putting him to bed unless he asks for me. And I love to read him books and all of that. I don't mind it. But our behavior or our kind of habits, especially living in Dallas, like now things have changed because we do have more support in the house, but it used to be, and moms, yes, dad would put him to bed, which was amazing that I even had that as an option, because I know a lot of the times it's the mom doing all of it, but I would clean all the bottles and all my pump parts and do all of that, which I don't like that job as much, obviously, but it has to be done. And it makes me feel good to go to bed knowing, you're happy putting him to bed and then the house gets clean or whatever. But I think because of that, I definitely have moments of, I resent the level sometimes of responsibility that I have as a mom. And I mean, that's a whole other conversation we were planning on today, kind of a conversation I had with my mom. Maybe I'll have Candy on sometime and kind of talk about what we've been going through there. But I think I have those moments of, I feel this level of frustration and resentment when I feel that I'm doing, we're doing all the, what do you call it? The invisible load, I guess, is what it's like actually kind of referred to. It's all of those things. And I'm not saying that like you don't appreciate it, because I know that you do and you recognize it. But I think there's so much of that, so he's like, you prefer it that way. You'd prefer to be the third wheel. It's easier. I go, yeah, it was really fucking easy going through IVF and like having an awful cesarean where I almost died. It turns into that, because like he can't, that's kind of the mic drop. Like you can't really argue that. I was like, it was like fucking easy to go through like 2 years of hell.
Okay, Jen, I have had a cold before. We all know how it feels.
You think I want to have another baby? You think I want to have another baby with this man or any man? No. But, you have those moments of just, he doesn't see my side, I don't see his side, because it's all those things like, I want to go to IKEA. Like, we need more shit for this house. He's like, we'll get it. Oh, will we? Will it just show up? Those kinds of fights. Like, where do you think all this shit comes from sometimes, And so you get into those beautiful Sunday morning conversations, and I know it's just kind of riding the wave of it. But back to, Fran went to Dallas. And so the point of that was like, I love and I hate when he travels. I hate it more than I love it, but I try and look at the upside when you go out of town. This was the first time I've been alone now in Mexico City. And my mom was here, obviously. She's been taking Spanish classes, which has been really cool for her. But
And a nanny and a maid and a driver.
Yeah.
It was pretty supportive.
Yeah.
It was a big support group.
Okay, in all fairness, we have like a 3-hour babysitter. I do have cleaning, someone here every day. And you did hire me someone to drive me around. You are making me sound like such an asshole. Y'all, I apologize.
Well, I just want to make sure that people understand why I brought my little violin.
Well, no, single mom, meet up. If that's the single mom, and I know women listening are like, are you kidding me, Jenna? This is what you have now? Yes, it is. And I have so much support and it's amazing. Thank you. But the point of this was that Remy only had me. He was so nice to me when Fran was gone. Mama, we snuggled. Friday night, we had Papa John's cheese sticks because we do pizza and movie night, like in bed, because we're trying to have better eating habits, which I know that sounds like the opposite of better eating habits, but we're trying to make kind of, you want to make little traditions. And so I've always wanted to do like Friday movie night. And so we had Papa John's cheese sticks in bed. We watched a movie. We watched some like Blippi, Handyman Howell. But he was so happy. He slept so great. It was so cozy. And usually it's like, Papa, Papa, Papa. Every now and then he'd be like, where's Papa? Papa's in Dallas. Papa's working. I'm like, yeah, he is. But he'll be back. And he was so sweet to me and also more emotional because you're gone. And I think that that's been a bit of a struggle. We're going to talk in the second part of today's show about kind of some of those toddler parenting struggles because it's definitely been one of those take a deep breath kind of few days we've had. But anyway, thank you for allowing me the one-on-one time because I think it is important to kind of have that one-on-one time. And so anyway, that's all I was trying to say is thank you. At the same time, it is hard to
Fuck
be.
you.
Thank you. Fuck you. No, it's good. But I do miss you very much. I have so much anxiety at night going to sleep. I really struggle to sleep because our bedroom's far away from his. And I know he knows his way in now because he just like pitter patters in and he's standing like a little creeper in the doorway, which I know he just wants you to take him back to his bed.
Now I feel him. Like,
oh, yeah.
Like he doesn't have to say anything. I feel him like, and I'm like, okay, let's go.
How was your experience now? We have lived in Mexico. We've been gone for, I don't know, we're coming up 8 months maybe. Obviously, you travel back and forth a bit more than I do. Sucks to be you. No, how was your travel to Dallas this last time?
Just going back, there's no time that you enjoy better with your kid than when the other parent is not home. Like when you've been gone, of course, it hasn't been as often as I have. It's just that constant feedback, and being able to
connect with your own personality. That is something I'm glad you circled us back because my mom, we noticed a difference more. Like I noticed him being more like me when him and I are one-on-one, because I feel that you're much more playful with him for the most part than I am. Like him and I read a lot of books and I talk. We talk a lot. Lucky Remy, lucky me, lucky you. Yeah, we talk. And so I love it because we get this level of connection, but we also chill and he snuggles on me and he's like my little homebody boy, like I am, And then when he's with you, he's like much more kind of like outgoing and loud and playful and that kind of vibe. And so it is nice to kind of see the different personalities.
And he morphs into that self that he's with you and only with you. And I think that's so cool to see him like there's nothing that it's better than have that routine in the morning that it's a little different because the other parent is not around, especially on a weekend when you can make it your own.
Yeah, we showed up to school. The gates were still locked. We were so early.
Wow. So that's so cool. But circle back into
how was Dallas?
Dallas was great. So
how do you feel about everything going back?
So I had a shock because I left Mexico City to go to Dallas. I choose to leave Mexico City to move into Dallas 20 years ago. So, of course, that's like, well, I really like Dallas. Like, there's many aspects that I loved about Dallas, and that was like the perspective I got. Like, oh man, like I'm back in Mexico City, but it's 20 years that have passed, and going back with my family is amazing. Coming back to Mexico City with you, with Remy, has been a really wonderful experience. Being able to see my kid going to school here and making friends and speak Spanish. Yeah. Like seeing when your kid starts talking your native language, it's something that it's so heart melting.
What about your time in Dallas? How did you feel about going to Dallas?
Great. Like I worked a lot. I did party some. So it was very balanced.
Did you work? Yeah, because every time I talked to Fran, he was at the place where we met, drinking with friends, and I was like, "So, was this trip just a little getaway?" No, I mean I know you were working, but I was surprised you did go out a bit and socialize. How was that? Is it like weird being back in a place?
So it is crazy because that is when I said I'm so happy I live in Mexico because it is the same place, the same people, which for a spam amount of time it's great.
Yeah, like as a novelty, it's so fun because you know you can hit up a spot or two and see
Yeah, like
everyone.
I know for a fact that I can go to the bars that I normally go. I can go alone
And run into
and
friends.
have a blast.
Yeah.
That's something it doesn't happen here in Mexico because we have 300 million options of the same quality of bar. So, but it was great. It was contrasting. I'm very happy I don't live full time there. I'm very happy that part of my life is there because it's still
Yeah.
that it's something that myself needs.
We have the best of both worlds, I really believe. And so, you know, I know, especially everything going on in the world, a lot of people, I've been fielding a lot more questions. Are you happy? Are you happy? Are you happy? Should I do it? You know, that kind of thing. I was like, yes, we are. Now, that being said, this has been the most daunting and challenging kind of experience I've ever had in my life. We do also, again, have the best of both worlds because even though we don't own a home in Dallas anymore, Dallas will always be a little piece of our life. And so it is comforting in different weird ways, right? To kind of go back and be like, oh, the Target on Northwest Highway, you know, these kind of like moments of, I used to go like every day and just spend stupid money on stupid shit. And then now it's kind of like you go at the same time, though, you go and then you don't buy anything, right? Because you kind of walk around and you're like, do I need anything really? Like, I don't need to buy as much as I used to, or I don't feel that need. And we also have more here
I
in
have so
Mexico
much
City.
PTSD from the last couple times I've been there of having to bring my whole entire house to Mexico City
Yeah.
that like I was about to buy a couple of pieces of clothes and stuff like that, and I literally said, I'm not packing
No,
anything.
I know. I know.
And then I go to our mailbox and I see a box the size of like a car, and I was like, oh man, Jenna. And it was just a little jacket. So I was pretty happy about that. That it wasn't like a whole wardrobe that I needed to pack in my little like 2 liter carry
Una
on.
chiquita chaqueta?
Yeah, una
Chaqueta?
chiquita chaqueta. That's good. Oh,
Ah!
it's una chaqueta chiquita.
Una chaqueta chiquita, the
Yeah.
adjective after, sí. Mi español es mucho mejor, ¿sí?
Sí, mucho mejor.
Sí. I've been working really hard on that, but I mean, I'm not that great, but I've been working really hard. Something has, I told Fran, he's like, wow, great. You know, so if anyone else wants to talk to me in slightly more detail than wow and great, greatly appreciated. But I feel as it's funny to say this because those of you, so many of you are fluent in Spanish. So many of you, actually, every single one of you, every single person that comments on my social media, I've been posting TikToks doing my outfit checks, by the way. I know sometimes it's incorrect, but I'm doing it for two reasons: to put myself out there, not be uncomfortable, get myself to practice. Memorizing some of the things is helping me. And I know it's just clothing, but it's really helpful for me. So I've been trying to post, not every day, but some of those. And something has clicked for me with Spanish lately, like all of a sudden. It's finally, after all these years, finally making so much more sense. Now, so much to learn, but there's things that I'm really feeling it clicking. But I think the only reason is because I'm drowning in it on a day to day, you know, because of the people helping us in the home, the driver that's driving me around. He's so nice and he understands more English, but he, you know, a lot of people in Mexico City, especially kind of in that service industry, unless you're at a hotel or a restaurant in certain neighborhoods, they don't speak English, right? And so that was always my hesitation coming to visit before is I knew that it's much more Mexico here. You know, I mean, this is true Mexico, and you have all different sides of Mexico. You have luxury Mexico, you have poor Mexico, you have all these different beautiful sides of Mexico culturally that I really love here, if that makes sense, much more than we had in Baja. Like, I could have gotten away in Todos not speaking
Baja
Spanish.
it's a mirage.
Yeah.
It's something that it's not Mexico and it's not the US. It's a really amazing hybrid that's all speaks English.
I miss the beach so very much. I still believe that at one point in time in my life, I am better by the beach. I'm calmer. I mean, I think that's scientifically proven. Being by water is more grounding and centering and good
En
for
el mar
you.
la vida
And
es más sabrosa.
what?
That's what we say. En el mar la vida es más sabrosa. In the
I got all
ocean,
of it except what's Masa Rosa.
like it's more delicious. Like life is more
I thought you were
pleasant.
saying like life at the beach is more red. I was like, okay, Rosa.
Sabrosa.
Sabrosa.
Uh-huh,
See, like, how the
sabrosa.
fuck am I supposed to know what you were saying? I was like, life at the beach is more red. Sure. That's like one of
Rad.
those expressions, rad. Um, it is. However, there's, in case there was any doubt, like, I'm just so happy that so many of those negative little scenarios that we had happening, like with the landlord and that housing situation and this kind of grief period that we went through. Yes, I missed a lot of elements of it. Our intention was to be there for 1 to 2 years. And so we didn't quite make it. But it wasn't because we didn't want to. We just kind of followed where the universe took us. And I'm so happy to be here. My life feels more, I feel more fulfilled. I feel more challenged. I have more energy because I'm in a city again. And so there's elements of this that, yeah, I'm 100% happy with this for now. So I had quite a fun night.
Yeah, no, I know. You went out.
I did. I went to a music festival. If you don't know this about me, I used to be a frequent music festival goer. I never went to Coachella actually, because it was always kind of a pain in the ass. And I always had to work early on Monday. I didn't know how to get to Indio like easily. I never went to Coachella, but I've been to Bonnaroo and Lollapalooza multiple times, ACL. Trying to think of, there's others that I've been to. Anyway, there was one here called Corona Capital, and I had never heard of it, and it was very similar to those. I mean, it was definitely a la Lollapalooza kind of style, kind of in that similar fashion, and very cool, some of the installs and setups. But one of my good girlfriends that also happens to live here, she moved here from Dallas around the same time. She curates a museum here, so she's in the art world. She's super cool. She's from El Salvador originally, so super easy and fun for me to hang out with her here, obviously, since she's fluent in Spanish too and can help me. But she goes, hey, I used to date or know this guy that manages, this huge artist. He offered me like artist passes to this music festival. You want to go? I'm like, yes, because that is one thing. You never say no to any kind of all access to any event. You say, yes, I'm going. So now, y'all, I am old. I mean, I texted Fran. Well, I didn't really have service when I was there, but we went out to dinner. We went to this awesome sushi restaurant called Kill Bill, where apparently if you do omakase, they serve you a live tiny crab as part of the dining
Oh, I love
experience, which is
those.
very sadistic and sounds awesome, actually. But we just had a few bites and we didn't do the full thing. And then we went to the restaurant scene here is just so cool. So we ate and then we had a ride out to the festival, and festivals are a lot of walking. I'm such an idiot. You would have thought I was such a rookie. I didn't wear the most comfortable shoes because I'm like, artist pass. I don't need comfy shoes. Bullshit. Like, I still walked my ass off back and forth across the festival. So, but Cage the Elephant was playing. I love Cage the Elephant. They are a pretty just true rock band. If you know them, you know them. But I love them, and I've never seen them before. I've never seen them live. So they were headlining on, or they were playing before Green Day, who was the headliner on Friday night. So I was super excited about that. So yeah, I saw Cage the Elephant. I saw an electronic guy called French 79. Awesome. Like the kind of electronic I like. Went and saw Zed, by the way. No, not my vibe. It was like Vegas. And I don't know if he's actually playing. I'm not sure, And I guess he has some good pop songs, but that's just not my type of music, And then I actually watched some of Green Day, which was such a throwback. So
It's just crazy. Like, I get it why most of the artists don't sing or play anymore.
this
But
is what I love.
it is, what's the point?
French 79, and then I didn't go back to the festival. I was too tired. She went again, and y'all, there's no way. Like, I didn't even get drunk because I walked so much. I think I had like 2 or 3 drinks, walked, my feet hurt. I was tired. I left at midnight. She stayed for another hour, I guess, to finish Green Day. So I came home. I was so tired. I didn't leave the house on Saturday. I don't even know what to call that. It's not even a hangover. I wasn't even drunk, Like
Just old over, like your body just cannot deal with that
I guess
anymore.
so. Yeah. So I was just like kind of like I'm kind of sick and tired from staying up till like 1 a.m. So, but it was so fun. I mean, yeah, I didn't have 3 festival days in me, but no, there's some electronic I like though. Like that French 79 is great. There's a group called The Blaze. These two guys, listen to them. It's so good for electronic, but they're also like mixing and doing things in the moment and playing, like their drum pads and stuff. So it's very much like an Odessa or Rufus. Like it's electronic music, but they're actually a band, if that makes sense. Not just like, boom, let me hear you. Like not that, they're actually doing cool shit. Yeah. Um, anyway, so that was fun. So yeah, I'm old. I was the oldest person at the festival for sure. But that's okay. I feel it. I feel much older, but yeah, it was fun. And what a nice experience to get to go out with a girlfriend one night, even though she's probably never going to invite me out again because she's like, you're leaving. I was like, girl.
No, because that friend, she could have stayed up till 6
Sorry. I'm still coughing from the show. It was almost a week ago. No.
Wow. Too much
Yeah, that's the thing. And that again goes back to when you have a great friend that doesn't have kids, it's hard for them to know exactly what your Saturday morning is going to look like. And all I can say to these couple of people around me, I was like, I have a toddler. Does that mean anything to you? I have a toddler and no support on a Saturday, right? Like no childcare, no Fran. I'm single momming it on a Saturday morning.
Candy.
And I know. Do you at any point want to have my back?
Because, I'm Switzerland.
Switzerland on camera or what? Is that how we're playing this game?
Like I'm neutral. Like I just say things how they are.
Anyway, y'all know without saying what it's like to say, do you know what it's like to have a toddler on a Saturday morning? Because those are the mornings he's going to wake up early.
But if you remember, I think that's the most amazing part about having friends with kids and you being the one with that. Because you're the biggest and best salesperson. It's like, hey, YOLO, just to stay here. It's going to be okay. Tomorrow you're gonna be like a little maybe tired, but you're the best salesperson to your friend that has kids because you never understand how tough a hangover is when you have to wake up at 7.
No, I do because I used to.
No.
Post college, I stopped even going out because my hangovers are so bad. But anyway, we will get into some of our parenting struggles. And we had a great question from one of you that I want to read. We have to take a break real quick. But as soon as we come back, actually, I don't think we have to take a break. Well, we probably do. We probably have some other commercials we have to do.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, we have to take a break. I'm going to get in trouble. Yeah, no, we have to take a quick break, hear from a couple of sponsors. And then when we come back, I'm going to read you a really great question I got from one of you. And I won't share your name because it's very personal. And we are going to talk about a couple of incidents with our Remilicious when we get back. All right, welcome back to the show. And I apologize. I teased you with this great question. And it is a great question, but I can't seem to find it. And I'm using my phone to record us. So I don't know. But the gist of it was, and I told Francisco, it was a great question because I think a lot of you, I didn't realize, had listened to me, all of these years on the radio and looked at me as someone that may never have children. And so every now and then I get questions along the lines of, do you think you would have regretted not having children? And, kind of how did you know? How did you know when you were so 50-50? Because I always used to say, like, I just didn't know. I wouldn't say I felt that I would never go as far as to say that I never wanted children. I think that there had been times in my life, or people that I had dated that were pretty adamant about not wanting children. And I think when you're kind of in that moment and you're younger, you say, well, I don't know. I mean, how do you know what you don't know? And you're just kind of like, well, I'm kind of open to see where life takes me. And I will say I couldn't have been more wrong about that. But then again, I mean, that's what life's about, right? You kind of learn as you go. And I knew with no uncertainty that I was not this person that was like born to be a mom, always wanted to be a mom. I mean, I was an only child and very independent and really selfishly wanted to prioritize like work and stability and feeling fulfilled in my own way. But I could say that about not being inclined to have kids or care that much about settling down with someone, a partner either. I was never really in a hurry for that. All of that being said, when I met Francisco, all of that changed pretty quickly. And people
All
usually,
your ovaries start dancing.
yeah, you were always really great with kids. I was surprised when you told me that you were unsure if you ever wanted to have children. From the moment I met you, it was very clear to me that you would be such a great dad. And I mean, one of our first dates in Dallas, you introduced me to your friends, some of your other Mexican friends, actually. And I remember being kind of intimidated to go out to eat with y'all because I didn't know any of them and I knew how that went. I mean, I knew zero Spanish and that everyone, even though they spoke English, would probably be speaking Spanish. And I feel very like left out, but in the sense of like I have nothing to contribute anyway. So Fran leaves me at a table and he's running around with a little girl who was 2 years old at the time, his friend's little girl. And like, what, 30 something year old single guy does that? And it was very cool to see. I was like, wow, he's so good. Especially because I had been with people in the past that like wouldn't even play with their own relative, like their sibling's child. And you're kind of like, okay, well, that's also weird. And so to see you have this approach with one of your friend's children. I mean, you played with her for an hour. I sat with them for an hour. You were playing like it was so amazing to see. And there was that moment for me that I went, oh, wow, I could see, that's kind of where you have those moments of like, huh, he's great with kids. Wait a second. I may want kids. Yet we still kind of went through the whole, I froze my eggs and that whole thing because I didn't want to be in a hurry. I didn't know. And
Yeah, so in my late 20s and early 30s, I was sure I didn't want kids.
yeah,
Like,
sure, I see it. But
like vasectomy, sure,
why would you do that? Why would you change the
I
trajectory
didn't
of
do
your
it.
future?
Well, I didn't do it. I was like, I think I'm gonna cancel that appointment. But yes, like I've always liked kids. Like my sister has wonderful kids. I have, as a good Mexican family, I have like around 80 cousins.
You actually don't have that big of a Mexican family.
Well, my mom has 11 brothers and sisters. My dad has 8. So do the math. Like,
I'm just saying,
and
I haven't met them
all of them have at least 3 kids. So we are being like, of course, as we have grown, we have kind of parted a little bit,
Yeah.
but we used to hang out a lot. So yes, like I've always been entertained with kids. Like it's something that I had,
You're
like
good
I
with
loved
them.
it. But my own seemed like no, like if you ask me when I was single, do you regret not having kids? Absolutely not.
I think it always is
Ask me
interesting.
now, and of course, but before, like it's like if someone tells you, do you regret never trying caviar? Like, no, because I don't even know how it tastes. But when you try it, like, oh yes, like this shit is actually amazing.
Yes, caviar and children.
Well,
Great analogy.
if you eat caviar every day, it's almost like having a kid.
Yeah, as expensive. No, I do think it's nice to offer our opinion because often people don't. I feel like you don't hear from people like us that we're like, I don't know if I want to have kids, and then you have kids. It's usually the people that are like, oh yeah, I always wanted kids. Or no, I never wanted kids and I'm not going to have kids. So, I mean, I'll go back and always say if you are certain you don't want children and your partner is certain they don't want children, do not have a child. It is a hell of a lot of work. It is life changing. And the thing is, you can't describe to someone, and those of you that have kids know this, right? I mean, it's just so life changing that you don't even recognize your old self anymore in good and bad ways. But you can't say to someone, would I have regretted not having children? Well, knowing what I know now, having a kid, you could tell your other self, yes, for sure, because I've never experienced this level of like joy and fulfillment in a simple way. Now, I'm far less, I say on most days, far less productive with work, far less selfishly productive. I don't like exercise as much. I don't prioritize myself. Am I unhappy because of that? No, I'm making a choice of what matters now. I mean, your perspective changes, everything changes. All the things that you used to think were kind of your, what's your next? I think I used to live more in a world, as you do when you don't have a child. You live in a world of what's next more than you do in the moment, I think, for the most part. Like, what's the next time we're going to go out of town together? I'm going to go to dinner with friends. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I don't do that nearly as much now with a child. It's more about like just being in the moment of a day to day and really making effort to just enjoy this time that we have with him. Because all of my priorities in life have just totally changed. And then now we talk about possibly wanting to have another. And, which again, it's a big decision and we're older and it is difficult. But I will say this to you. If you are on the fence and it doesn't matter. So what? I was almost 40 when I had a child. You're on the fence. Like you think you may later in life regret not having a child. You think that there may be a chance that you regret this decision. You should have a child because it's just the most wonderful, amazing experience. And I know you feel the same way. I mean, it's changed you as a person. It's just the coolest thing ever.
And I have had plants and I have had dogs. I don't regret not having plants and dogs, but child is just a different thing because people say like if you think you want to be like in a relationship, have kids, have a plant for 6 months, and if it survives, get a dog, and then get the dog for 2 years, and if it survives, then
No.
it has nothing
Y'all,
to do with that. But
you're like dog who? I mean, having a dog is nothing compared to the love you feel for a child and having. I mean, I used to think that I mean, y'all know I like love animals, love dogs. I still do, but it just doesn't even compare. I'm actually kind of now weirded out when people like their animals more than kids and stuff because I go, how? Like, how is that even possible? I think it's so cool. But I will say,
well, animals don't throw tantrums.
well, yeah, I mean, they're easier, but it is interesting. I look at some other women that I follow online, and a lot of the moms that I've started to kind of try and make friends with here, they all have more than one kid for the most part. Most of them have three. I know that's also like a more Latin thing and in general, but I also know women in the United States and the South, that are on their like third and fourth child. How I am in ways, I'm so impressed. And I hate to say envious because I'm not, but it's like, wow, because I know how great that's going to be for you one day when they're a little bit older, and you have these like amazing like holidays and family dinners and how fun it is. But I think about that 0 to 5 years because that's the trenches, it's really this is the trenches. You're like, we're in it. Like I thought newborn was hard. I was like, I think this is the trenches. Like it's, and everyone always says, which is so annoying, by the way. And I try not to do that to people. You just wait. Just wait. You think this is hard. Just wait till he's 3. Just wait.
I'm going to say the most unrelatable thing, but every stage has some, like everybody says, it doesn't matter the stage of life my kid has been. Everybody from the outside said, enjoy it. This is the best stage.
I'm going to say that to you like yesterday when you were like, Remy, go to your room. Be like, this is the best.
Still the best stage. Like, I would not take anything away from this experience. Like, yes, he's emotional. Yes, he throws tantrums. But when he smiles at you, when he says, Papa, and when you realize that that is your child, and this is the person that you can have the best relationship in your life, the tightest relationship in your life. Like,
Fran lives in toddler fucking Candyland. Like everything is great all the time. When it's not great all the time, I prefer to be a little more relatable to y'all and realistic because I have moments where, I mean, just a week or two ago, I was sobbing because I was struggling so much with parenting because he like hit me and he's like being mean to the babysitter and he is screaming at the top of his lungs, crying to the point that I'm like, does he need a behavioral therapist? Do you all ever think that? Like, is that normal, right? Or is it normal when it's your first and only kid? I think we often probably, I hope, right? You just have to go, this has to be normal, right? Like, this level of psychosis has to be normal. Like, they all go through this. And then when I say that, Fran gets mad. He's like, nothing's wrong with him. And I was like, are we sure? Are we sure? Because he's very smart. He's very verbal. He's also highly emotional. Like, is there maybe something going on?
But it's exactly, I am completely in grips in grasping the concept that I'm dealing with a almost 3 year old.
Not always. You're not perfect.
I am not saying I am perfect. I'm far from perfect. But when he throws those tantrums, like I know he's very smart, I know he's very vocal, but he still has that one emotion at a time.
He has been, let's tackle that for a second. So y'all, we love hearing from you about this. High emotions are normal, especially considering, I mean, yeah, he'll be 3 in February. I feel that he's already acting 3 years old, and they say it's the terrible threes. So, and again, it's Sour Patch, right? Like he's often sweet and will have a stretch of a couple of days on and off that the tantrums are pretty intense. Not like he's like banging his head against the wall, but screaming, or he bit the babysitter yesterday, which was ridiculous. He doesn't bite me, but he did. He hit me in the face because he's so independent that if I do anything he wants to do, yeah, he whacked me really hard. And that's when you send him to his room, because we're trying to not hit him. I mean, I get it. Like you want to. I mean, sometimes you kind of you want to show them that it hurts, but look, I mean, you got to try a whole different thing, right? But I was on the phone with my marketing director the other day. She's so great. She's on her third kid. She's like breastfeeding, like knocking out work. She's such a badass. And she's like, I was like, so, like she saw him be like awful to me. And like, I was like, so what do you do there? She goes, well, it depends. Like, are we in public or are we at home? I'm like, oh, okay, I see. But yeah, I think like parenting is obviously just trying different approaches. But, then we have moments of Francisco and I sit down afterwards and we say, this has been a lot, right? Then we start to feel guilt. Like we've put him through a lot. Like we've moved him from the United States to the beach. He made a little friend there. See ya. Then we uprooted him and we've moved him here. Now, I do feel that this offers us so much more stability. He has his own room. He has a yard. Like he has this wonderful school. Our life on a day-to-day is really still very calm. But it's a lot. And all the kids there are speaking Spanish to each other. And the thing is, he's so verbal, he understands Spanish, but we wonder if he's getting frustrated at school. And then he comes home and there's like new people in the house and, you're out of town and it's a lot of change. But how do you accommodate that? How do you reassure him that, I mean, this is the new normal, but it's also okay, So we're kind of.
But that is exactly the grip that you have. And that's good to remind
This
yourself.
move's been hard on me emotionally. Like imagine him.
For sure. Especially imagine that you can deal with multiple emotions at a time. When you have one that overwhelms me or takes over you, you're able to see different angles of this emotion.
I know. We get him to breathe, and that's been working. He knows to take a deep breath. Now you see, he comes to me and he goes, I mean, it didn't really work, but he knows to do it at least. But
okay. Next.
Hold on. Let me take a breath and wind up. So I have done something that I feel might work. I'm trying to, and I'm no expert, right? But teaching him some coping skills, right? Like school can help us as well. But like he has finally shown a little bit of interest in soccer. We've been kicking around an ornament around the house. He loves it. He's having so much
really
fun. Good. You are that parent. He's really good. But what do you mean he's really good?
He kicks the ball wherever he wants to, the direction that he wants it to go.
So I like drug Fran today. I'm like, we are going to the sporting goods store when we take him to school. I'm getting a little soccer
and you are that parent.
Balls.
Like he shows interest. A slight interest. We got a goalie, a ball, sneakers, a full team. He's already He's
in the messy school of football.
Yeah.
No. But I have read that when a kid shows interest in something, a lot of parents, I think, look, again, I'm no expert.
Throw a couple $1,000 to it.
No, but they say that when a kid, like a lot of people think that kids, oh, wow, he was just born a great soccer player. Yeah, I mean, I think athletic ability can be genetic. I mean, we see this, but there is a level of, it's the 10,000 hour rule, the 100,000 hour rule. Like this is get good at what you do, because at a certain point, any athlete or any musician, anyone would say that there's a lot of talented people out there. You have to have a combination of like the desire and the, and the hours, the effort that you put in. And so for me though, it's not, I mean, yeah, I would love for him to play soccer because I love soccer and I how great, but I want him to be into art and music and anything he wants to be into. If he expressed a real interest in anything, I would want to foster that because they say that that's important to do when they start to show an interest, to just like kind of go all in on it and see if they get hyperfixated on it. And then he'll probably move on to something else.
He was really good at riding horses. I guess we should jump on that also.
I can't afford a horse riding hobby, right?
Well, maybe.
Soccer is actually like much more affordable. That's why everyone in the world plays soccer. I think it's like, it's at a certain level. I mean, you can play like barefoot, like out on the,
Yeah, we'd have like
it's not like golf
we
and
used to play
skiing
with a little like Coke bottle, an empty Coke bottle, you know?
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You played barefoot on dirt roads with a
Not
Coke.
barefoot, with sneakers, holes in the sneakers.
Oh, yeah.
But we used to like that was like it was actually not a Coke bottle. If you're from Mexico, you will relate. It was a fruitsy bottle, and the game was fruitsy soccer until the fruitsy was completely distorted that it couldn't just move anymore.
And now you're just fruitsy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so no, the whole point of this is not that I'm a crazy stage mom, though I appear to be as he's filming cooking videos. He's filming cooking videos but he has fun doing that. He likes to cook and I have fun doing that with him.
So you're the crazy stage
Yeah.
mom.
No, but the soccer thing for me was more, he needs an outlet for aggression and the testosterone and just like, I mean, I was a girl, but like having a little boy, they say that little boys have these surges of testosterone, not unlike men in their 20s. I mean, think about that. Or Fran every 5 minutes. So it's like, if he has these surges of testosterone, they need to get it out. And so, until I can find some sort
also
of
my age
gym or anything like that, we'll go kick around a soccer ball, baby.
Yeah. We'll do something like that.
Yeah, so that was kind of my theory with that.
No, I'm all about that.
And
like
I can play
he showed
with
interest. I'm game because he really likes it. And even if it lasts, like secretly I'm the same way. He would have shown interest in a guitar, I would have bought him a guitar or a piano or anything. Like he was even less than a year old and he showed interest in drums.
You bought him an adult drum set.
It was a middle.
It was like 6 a.m. and I hear the drums. I go, Fran, this is such a rookie parent move. Like, we can't do that. But no, anyway, for me, it's just about the aggression. Like, it's like, let's just get it out. And I love playing soccer anyway. So I get to go in the backyard and he giggles and plays. He loves it. Your brother plays. He's so excited when Uncle Juan Pablo's here to kick soccer with. Fran made me so mad the other day. Fran's like,
Fran, Remy made you so mad. I was like,
Mama played soccer. Like, I only played my whole life. It's like one of my other
whole life. How many years?
College. 10?
10 years? How many did you? I thought you didn't play in college.
I didn't play in college. I was so good, though.
You were so
good at soccer, and your brother's really good at soccer. And I was like, Mama played soccer her whole life. Like, it was the sport Mama was best at. And he goes, and Uncle Juan Pablo, and Papa. I was like,
I played soccer by fair amount. I didn't want to go, but I can kick a ball. However, the only times that he has seen
you whenever you want.
Cool, but
see how dismissive you are.
No,
I'm so glad we have this on camera. I'm so glad so many of these moments are on camera to be played back for therapy.
You want to take me down like Mike Tyson and Jay Paul? We can do that. We know that you had many years, but he's seen my brother play. He's gone to his soccer matches.
Yeah,
so that's why he had that.
I don't need the full explanation. I don't need the full explanation.
Oh, just maybe they needed it,
So very excited about this newfound love for soccer that's going to last for one weekend, but we did get him a goal. I did not get him shoes or shin guards or anything like that. We got him a few different size balls. And we were arguing in the discount sporting goods store this morning because Fran wanted to get him a tiny ball. And my issue with that is like, he needs a size 3 because like that's the entry size. And a small ball is great, but a small ball is actually harder to learn on. Like the bigger ball has more mass. He has more like likelihood to kick it. And I don't want to buy him like a tiny bouncy ball. That's like what we used to use. Like when the coach would bring out the tennis balls, you're like, oh, So Fran's like, so we were arguing over the size of the ball to buy him. So we bought 3.
Yeah. Well, we want him to feel comfortable.
I'm excited. Are we going to go put that net together right now?
Yes. Not right now, but at some point.
Yeah. That means I'm going to go put that net together right now.
Yeah, maybe.
Can you turn on the lights on the top of the Christmas tree before we leave? Please.
A step ladder yesterday.
Women, you know how this goes. I put the entire tree together by myself, but I cannot connect the top section of lights. And I'm like, please do this. This is on your honeydew list. Please do this. The tree is almost complete. We need to go. We've been very long-winded today, but we are celebrating Thanksgiving here. We are bringing Thanksgiving to Mexico. Remy has school because of course he does. Like he has plenty of other rando days off.
She keeps telling me about Thanksgiving. It's like Thanksgiving means absolutely nothing.
I know that it
But
doesn't
it does
mean
mean
anything.
to us.
Oh, what do you mean I keep telling you? I know that it means nothing
No, they don't
here.
close stores. We can go to the grocery store. We can go to the mall. Like everything is
I
open.
know that. Why do you throw me under the bus? I never said any of those things. I simply said to you, are we going to put him in school on Thursday? Because Fran thinks Remy should go to school on Thursday because, of course, he has school. It's not a holiday here. And I'm kind of like, well, I'm going to be home cooking all day. And he loves that. And, Thanksgiving is just kind of that lazy around the house, have family over, cook. We're going to have, a traditional Mexican lunch hour at like 3 p.m., which is like Thanksgiving dinner time, right? And watch football and have your family over. I'm so excited. I'm going to make all of our Thanksgiving favorites, make a ton of food because I haven't been able to do that for a while because usually it's just me and you and Candy. So Candy and I are excited.
I'm excited about that.
We're going to have his parents and brother over, and that way I can make a whole bunch of food. And I want, just kind of finish decorating the house and stuff like that. If you have any like Thanksgiving traditions that you just think are such a hit and you want to share with me, that would be so great because this will be my first time hosting like an actual Thanksgiving dinner. So yeah, anything you recommend, I'm going to make like, most of the hits. And I'm also going to be posting some of these recipes on Fitish, or I might send out a Thanksgiving Fitish newsletter because I do have some desserts and stuff I make that are always a hit. So I'll make sure to share those with you. And yeah, but anyway, I don't know. Yeah, I guess we'll put him in school, but it's kind of weird. Like, I guess we'll put him in school
Well,
so
it's
I
a
can get
slippery
some
slope.
support.
If we start like putting the President's Day and stuff like that, I don't know. But if you think that he will enrich and you will enrich your soul by not putting him in school, let's do it. He's learning how to
I mean, he doesn't go to school here on what was Monday? Revolution Day? What'd we do to teach him about that?
I did enough,
Which was? Tell us about
we
it.
argued a little bit, you and I. We had a little revolution. Then you won the argument. Then he saw how when someone wins the revolution, gets all the rights and bundle of joys. And that's what he learned. He learned that life is a battle.
You're right. Here in Mexico, he has so many days off. I went through and put everything in our digital calendar in the kitchen yesterday. I went through like trying to translate everything from Spanish to English, putting everything into our shared calendar, by the way, so you can see like all the days off. In Mexico, by the way, just so y'all know, the last Friday of every month is off. Is that normal in the States? I mean, I haven't had a kid in school in the States. No,
I didn't have that in my
and
school.
I know that there's probably plenty of other rando days in the States, but I noticed, especially come springtime, there's like 2 weeks of spring break. He has like 10 days off in May. I was like, I mean, I know there's Cinco de Mayo.
So the thing is that May is full of stuff. Not only the most important holiday of it all, your birthday and then your mom's birthday, but we have Labor Day, May 1st. Batalla de Puebla, we don't call it Cinco de Mayo. Batalla de Puebla, May 5th. Then Dia de las Madres, May 10th. Then
your Mother's Day is always on the same day, not how we do.
Teacher's Day, May 15th. So it's
teachers don't
pam,
teach
pam,
on Teacher's
pam,
Day.
pam. No, and you don't labor on Labor Day. So we're all even. So that is why. So they try to hold all these days together and make like a huge weekend.
Oh, before we let you go, we have to let you go. This has been too long.
This is an audiobook now.
This is an audiobook. This is the first chapter. Yeah. Francisco, your birthday is Tuesday. You told me you would think about it. Now is the time. I want you to say in front of the audience so that we have this on record. I have asked Francisco 3 times in the last week, what do you want to do for your birthday? What do you want to do for your birthday? Do you want me to have new friends over to the house? Can we do something at your parents' house? That way it can be like Remy can party and get a piñata, whatever, right? Do you just want to go out to dinner?
Let's just practice having a kid.
Do you want to do something on Tuesday and on Saturday? Because your birthday's Tuesday.
Yes.
And then we'll celebrate the weekend after.
Yes. Tuesday, Saturday, maybe for Friday. Maybe Wednesday, Thursday. Maybe Sunday. maybe we go do some fun, you know?
Is this what it's like for all of you trying to plan something to do for your man's birthday?
Is that this whole 6, 8 months have been a freaking holiday with some moving interferences.
Yeah, but you're the type of person, you're different than me. I say I don't want to do anything for my birthday. I really don't want to do anything. I want to go to dinner. You know what I mean? I do. I want to go to dinner. No, the mistake you make is like you like tiptoe around trying to plan these things.
Because when I underdo it, I know I underdo it. And when I overdo it, the feedback is that I overdid it. So I'm always trying to find the middle ground, which is impossible, which I already should know that because I've been straight for 41 years.
Yeah, I don't want to know. I just want to know what you want because you're like a month ago when we talked about it, you were like, I might want to have a party. Okay, here we are. It's less than a week away. You want to have a party?
Maybe. But the thing is, like, all my friends know that it's jump time. You know, if it's a party, there's a party and it happens. We don't need long notice for stuff like that in Mexico.
This is what's so self-serving about a guy, though, is you don't need long notice to be like, I'm gonna have a party tomorrow night. I need notice because I gotta plan the fucking party. I gotta get yeah. And not only that, I'm in a city that I'm unfamiliar with. Like, I don't even know where to start. So we'll let you know how it goes next week. Actually, we may take Thanksgiving off. Y'all have a great Thanksgiving. Please email message us.
Listen half of this in one day and the other half, and that's
with the length of this, we could break this into 2. All right, we'll see y'all next week. Have a great holiday, and we'll fill you in on Thanksgiving and friend's birthday. And
happy birthday to me.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.